everyone, this is Artistic Castaway from Instagram, and I wanted to go over a couple things when coloring with Copics. I get a lot of questions about it, and yes, the correct pronunciation is Copic. So, I mostly use Sketch. I have one of everything, so I kind of just play with what I have. This right here is Nuke. It is a commission badge, so I'm going to work with her. I have my second computer screen, so I know exactly what she looks like, and we'll go from there. Before we start, I also want to say that I mix and match. You might see some Prisma colored pencils or Prisma color markers. And again, I just mix and match and use what I have. You don't have to have Copics. I mean, they're just what I happen to have. And not rich or anything. I buy every single one of them by myself. The other thing you might see is my awesome little test pad. There's nothing wrong with testing. It actually helps you out so you don't make mistakes. And I'm actually going to start out with a colored pencil because she has some scars on her eye. And I want to make sure my marker doesn't run into them. Normally when I'm coloring characters, I do not outline markings or anything like that, just because I personally feel it looks like a coloring book. I'm not saying it's wrong, that's just what I do. So if you do something differently, great. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, woohoo! You're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't use all of my techniques. These are just my personal opinions and what I've kind of learned and picked up over the years. Okay. Now she is mostly grays, blacks, and a little bit of green. So you might see different colors. This one happens to be an anniversary set. All the Sketch, I'm not sure if the other ones do. I believe the Chow does too. It has this nice little gray band. It lets you know which end is your brush end. But I'm going to use the fine liner because that's what I'm wanting right now. And again, I'm just mapping out. She has stripes going down her back, so depending on what it is, each drawing is different. Therefore, each time you do the drawing, it could be different. Sometimes you might put down all the flat color first. Sometimes you might decide, hey, I want to do the markings first. It's really up to you. Flip over for the coloring. And this is YG06 yellowish green. I don't know why people insist on knowing the exact color I use, but it's green. I'm not going to be doing a lot of shading at first. I'm simply laying down my flat color so I know where everything is and what she's going to look like. Also, another thing you could do is when you are just laying out your flat color, leave the colors you've used off to the side. It's a little quicker when you're trying to find the colors. Also, when I do draw, you will see I will grab many colors of the same color family. These are all neutral grays ends, and they're just what I chose. I mean, if you want to do cool grays, do cool grays. Again, it doesn't have to be exactly what I do, just to give you the rough kind of idea, I guess. This character is mostly gray, so I started out with a lighter gray, kind of a medium. And pretty much wherever she is gray, I'm going to lay down flat color. I'll go back and do the shading later. You can leave light spots. It depends on where you are. I mean, in the hair, of course, I'm going to leave some light spots. It just depends on what you're doing, what effect you're going for, and just what the drawing is pretty much asking you for. And you can do the same techniques with Prisma Pro. Those are two of my favorite off-brand markers. I have used many of them before I graduated up to the Copic, so don't feel that you have to go run out and spend $1 million just to get these markers. These markers do not come with magical powers. If your drawing level isn't there, it wouldn't look any different if I was coloring with Crayolas. And again, I have sweaty hands, so I do this often. And I can go color right in and have no fear, since the color pencil lays down a little bit of a barrier. Not much. I wouldn't go in there and blotch it like with a Sharpie or something, but it gives you a little bit. Also, another thing I want to talk about is your lighting. If you look at my drawings, I don't know if you notice it, but 99.999% of the time my light is like up here in the right hand corner. And so all my light spots fall this way and all my shadows are underneath. I started out by drawing the sun over in pictures just to kind of help me out, let me know exactly where the sun and light should be falling on your character, and that helps you keep it consistent. Because if your shadows are going the wrong way, it looks a little funny. So she is gray. And again, I'm just laying down base color right now. It's nothing fancy. If you want to save your Copics, if you only have a few, and lay down your color with, or your base color with some Prismas, do it. Save them. Again, this is just my technique. This is how I plan on taking on this picture. And it really is what works for you. If it doesn't work, don't do it. And you gotta practice. Every time you draw, except when I was on vacation, draw every day. It helps you out. You learn what to do, what not to do. And one of the biggest tips I can give anyone, young artist, old artist, I don't care if you've been drawing for 100 years. If you make a mistake, don't point it out. Most of the time, no one notices it unless you say, hey, I messed up right there. Well, that's where everybody's gonna look, is right there, because you just told them to look there. She has black on her feet. I normally start with my lighter colors first, just because you can always make things darker. If you go too dark, you're kind of stuck with whatever you did. So since her feet are black, I know I can go in and go so far and not have to worry about it. Black will cover up gray. And don't worry, when we are done, I will show you how to get rid of all those little stripy marks. I get asked that question a lot, and it is very, very simple actually to get rid of. She has black pretty much down to there. We'll get in with the shadows later, and that's why I have more than one color. I normally think that 3 should be your basic number for coloring: a light, a dark, and kind of a medium color. So she's all gray back here. And I will say that it is my grays that I refill. I want to say every other month I will refill my gray markers. I have some markers like some yellows and some oranges. I personally don't care for the color orange. And those colors, you just don't use them, therefore you don't have to refill them as often. But now if it's pink, like Venus is pink, I refill hers more often. And like I said, the grays are probably my most used, and then probably my blues. People like to have blue in their character. Okay, she is almost. So there you go. Base color. So that was a 3. I'm gonna go ahead and go in a 4 and a 5. Let's go ahead and go straight on and go with the 5. And And okay, 5 is too dark, and that's why we test, because otherwise you don't know what you're gonna get. 4, I like the 4. So I'm laying in my shadow. This foot's behind, well, this leg. So the shadow, your light's hitting on the shoulder, and then it falls behind, and that's how you're gonna keep them consistent. And you can run it up through. I mean, it's really up to you how much of a shadow you want to add or how little of a shadow you want to add. And again, the biggest tip I can give anybody is practice. You gotta practice. If you don't practice, these Copics, any brand, it doesn't matter how much money you spend on them. They don't come with magical powers that poof, you're the greatest artist in the world. It just doesn't work like that. You gotta practice. And another thing I would have to say, and I've been told by numerous artists, including Chris, who has helped me tremendously with Copics, is show your art. Get it out there. It doesn't matter if you think it's terrible and only mommy and daddy think it's great. Put it out there. Just get everybody's opinion, because a little confidence boost goes a long way. I mean, you never know what people are going to say, and if they say it's poopy, then you know what? Don't listen to them, because I guarantee you they're poopy. Go ahead and laugh at my kindergarten name calling, because you will never get in trouble at your job for calling someone a poopy head. Again, just working with the shadows. You can go back and darken some up if you want, or lighten. Well, you can't really lighten, but just, you know, not go as much. It depends on what you want to do. And if you have to, let it sit there and just take a moment to step back. I do that a lot. Just give the artwork some time to breathe. Or if you feel confident with it, keep going. Copics work very, very well when they are wet. So normally, if you want to work in a small area, that works. If you don't want to go ahead and go for a big area, then do that too. It's really up to you, your comfort level. And now I'm going to go in there with the 5 and make spots a little bit darker, and I'm still not blending. I'm just laying down my layers. It's another term Chris likes to use, is layering the color, and that's pretty much what you're doing. This is where you can start adding in your texture, and you'll see I do a lot of swift little swooshes. I don't know what the technical term for it is, but that's all you need. If you want to go big and bold, go for it. If you want to have smoother, I mean, again, it's what you want it to look like. She is almost done with her gray. I used to dislike dark characters with like all grays or all black, because I felt they were boring and flat, but thanks to drawing and stuff, yeah, I've learned that they're not really flat. You can add a lot of depth with just some different shades of gray. Not the 50 shades, because that is weird. Again, pick and choose where you feel the shadow would hit and exactly where you want it. Okay, basic layers of gray are down. Now I'm coming in, it's same color family, it's your N. This one is a 2. Check and see that's what I want. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go even lighter with a 1. And again, this is what I want it to look like, so this is what I'm doing. So I take the lighter color, and it pretty much becomes your blender. Again, Copics are very forgiving. Most alcohol-based markers are. And you can push and pull that color and work it so you get a smooth blend, and you're also getting rid of all those pesky little smudge lines anywhere you think you need it. Just go over with your light color. And I found it just really smooths it out, and you don't get that weird little white patch that the blender, colorless blender, seems to give you. And this isn't really lightening the color, darkening it, or anything. It literally is just giving it a fresh coat of ink and smoothing out those layers for you. And I mean, work it as much as you want. If you think it looks fine like that, leave it. If you want to work it for another minute or two, go for it. Again, it's up to you. It's exactly how you want your picture to come out. And if you're having an issue, take a moment, breathe, walk away from it, come back. Can't tell you how many times I have gone to bed and just left a picture because it wasn't cooperating with me, so why fight with it? Okay, she has a dark gray nose. And we're gonna go get some darker colors. So just a second. Now I'm sticking in the neutral gray color family right now because that's just what I grabbed. I mean, I didn't. Sometimes I do it on purpose, sometimes I don't. I have 3. I have a 9, an 8, and a 10. So I'm going to start with my 9. Double check. That is exactly what I want. And this is why I put down my dark colors towards the end, I guess, the darker markings, because they will cover up everything. So if you smudge and get the gray in the ear, oh well, this darker color will cover it right up. And she has a smudge on her nose. And again, I'm laying down the base color. I will take the darker one and add shadow if I can add any more shadow to this. If not, then I will just work it with the lighter color and get the effect I want. There she. I guess it's more in the fur, you'll see the texture. Some people draw little diamonds. Sometimes I do it. I mean, again, this is just what I chose to do right now, so that's what I'm gonna do. The diamond or the little triangle, I don't know how some of the other people do it. I think I did it in one of my other videos. I think it was like a Springer Spaniel, and on the ears I wanted more texture, so that's what I decided to do. And by the way, don't look at me and be like, oh, child prodigy or anything. I'm 28. I've had plenty of years of practice. And I don't mind the younger artists coming up to me and asking, you know, hey, how'd you do that? If I'm able to explain it, I will tell you. I was once in your shoes, and I had the older artists that I looked up to, you know, completely bash me because, oh my god, I was trying to steal her secrets or something, and that's just not true. You're trying to learn, and if no one tells you, there's a chance you can figure it out, or you just won't. I mean, it's drawing. I feel that everyone should have a chance to learn how to do it, so If you want to learn and you want to listen to me and my bantering, have at it. Or you can sit there like Will and complain that I can't draw, which will get you nowhere. Because he is one of those prime examples of, okay, honey, practice. And he'll draw for like 20 minutes and then he's done. And I should love the light spot. Oh well. On the tail. You can see a little bit of the shadow. I'm not sure if the camera is going to pick it up. But it actually is picking up the darker shade. And I have Lucia licking my foot right now. Always fun. And I have decided that my 8 is too dark. So I actually like my 6. And again, I'm not doing any texture. I am simply pushing and pulling all those colors together. And it gives it that smooth transition. Okay, so we are finished with the grays and we're going to go back and work on the green. Now, since this is such a tight spot, I am actually thinking, let's see, that was a 6. This is a G3. I changed color families because I felt like it. For a little bit. And now I'm going to go back with that original YG06. Kind of blend up colors into each other so it's not quite. It's just bam, look, 2 different colors beside each other. And then just use the pencil sharpener noise. Lime green colored pencil that decided to somewhat break. And kind of finish them up. Now, depending on the color pencil, it can kind of go over your Copic or the marker space. I mean, again, it depends on what you're doing and trying to accomplish, because this is a cool gray and I want my ear fluffies that I do. Now, I wouldn't recommend putting white spots all over. I'm sorry that I keep bringing the drawing down. Unless you're going for a snow effect. That's one thing I've noticed a lot of people doing, is they either find their pencil or their gel pen and they go crazy with it. And unless you're going for snow, I honestly wouldn't do it. Less is more. And definitely helps that. Inside her mouth. this one is E93 Tea Rose, which the tea rose and the ash rose are some of my favorite colors. And we forgot to cut the other side of the mouth. I'm going in for the eyes. I normally wait to kind of outline them because you never know, oh, the pen might decide I'm going to bleed a little bit this time. So if you look at it, you can then adjust that, oh, this eye is much bigger, let's fix this eye, as opposed to finishing, you know, trying to color it in and finding out that, oh, I bled over. And by the way, the paper I'm using is cardstock. It is probably my favorite paper just because it's a little thicker and I don't know, it gives the, to me, it gives the markers something to hold on to. And this is just W2, which is a warm gray. The eyes, for the most part, are never, when I draw them plain white, it just kind of adds for the shadow later. Or the shadow now, because I've decided to just go ahead and do it. And now that star. Which I'm actually just going to go with the same colors I used for her mouth. Throw down your light. And this is E04, which is actually Lipstick Natural. I have never used it for lips. It is always the inside of ears or scars or something, and that's just what I do. Because one of my favorite things, actually it's the most annoying thing that I get, is people ask me, well, what should I get for my first Copics? And anytime you ask, I will tell you 6 set skin tones. Well, I don't draw people. Just because it says skin tones doesn't mean you have to draw people. I mean, just because it says sky blue doesn't mean you have to draw the sky. And because someone is wanting attention, we have to pause for a minute, and Lucia gets her little... You say hi? Just to prove that it is me. Thank you, Pumpkin. She thinks it's dinner time, but it really isn't. She's gonna have to wait for this to finish. Let me readjust my camera. Which, by the way, the camera is sitting on top of a box. I don't have, you know, magic money all the time, so I took a box that somebody shipped something to me, and voila, I have a camera stand. So let's do the color around her. Now, since she's black, well, blackish grays and stuff, it's a neutral. Any color will look good. Now, if it were my character, I would throw pink around her in a heartbeat just because I personally like pink. I don't know if everybody does. So let's kind of go. We'll do blue. Blue is a safe color, and then I wouldn't do green. I know there's only a little bit, but I want that to pop. So another reason for my paper. And if you hear little growlies, that would be my pom-pom by my feet. I've started coloring in the border, and I guess that's just what people like. So when you're trying to do commissions, you gotta give and take, and you know, if people like this, do it. The other thing about commissions is, you know, please don't look at it and think that I have a line a mile long. Sometimes I get commissions, sometimes I don't. It really depends on people and if they want it or not. And don't be offended if you open commissions and no one buys them. I mean, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. My best advice would be have good prices. Know your shipping rates. If you are not in the United States and you're trying to ship overseas, know what that is. Definitely look up. I have USPS.com, which is the United States Postal Service, on a saved page for on my computer. So I know exactly that, hey, a stamp is worth this. Now, of course, off the top of my head, I cannot tell you. I think it's like 49 cents or something. But when you are shipping, you know, you need to know, can you ship this in just an envelope with a stamp? Or do you need to upgrade? Now, when I include lanyards, I have to upgrade, which then means I need to charge more. And that's the other thing. Don't cheat yourself. Don't let anyone talk you down and be like, oh, well, I've been your friend for 2 weeks and I've liked 30 of your pictures, so you should give me a discount. No, you are doing the work. You are in charge of saying, yes, I want to give a discount, or no. I understand not everyone has money and not everyone has jobs, but at the same time, shame on you for pressuring any artist to do that. Because it's not fair. Any artist, doesn't matter your age, skill level, anything, you are providing a service. And if that person chooses to take advantage of your service, cancel the commission. Just don't even bother with it. And I've had it happen to me tons of time, and that's just what I do. I cancel it. It's like, you don't want to pay me, and my prices are cheap. I try to keep them low so that I can, you know, I can provide free shipping sometimes, or that I can include the lanyard for free sometimes. It really just depends on my paycheck. So yeah, don't let anyone push you around. If you have PayPal, I personally like it. It's quick, it's easy, don't even need a credit card. All you gotta do is hook up your bank account. If not, go mail. I haven't had too many issues with the mail. And there's this magical feature called tracking, which costs, it's only like another 60 cents or something, but then you can upgrade and track your package. I normally offer that because if someone wants to track it, otherwise you are at the mercy of the Postal Service, which as you've seen, when never had anything get lost, but if I mess up, I fix it. When my laminator decided it wanted to eat a badge, you know, I sucked it up and fixed it. I redid the badge. It was not fun. Badges are always fun the first time. But you know, that time could be spent doing something else, but I want my followers and customers to be happy, so I will fix it. And now her name. These are the fluorescent colors. I like F, I guess. And actually, we're not going to use that one. I use these. Makes it a little brighter. And before I had these, I used highlighters, and they work just as well. These were given to me, so I use them. I have quite a few friends that, you know, they're starting out drawing, or they get something, I don't know. I don't know how they get this stuff. All I know is that they then decide, it doesn't work, so they give it to whoever, who then gives it to me. And that's how I've gotten a lot of my art supplies. That's how I've gotten a lot of my Copics. The extras that I have used for contest prizes are all gifts that were given to me. I wish I had the money to go out and buy supplies for everybody, but I just can't. Oh, we kind of bled in. And now for the last part. Actually, I'm going to go back in and fix it. And again, play with it. I love mixing the color pencils in there. Most of the time, I get a good effect. These are jelly rolls. One's a sparkle, one's a white paint pen. Unless you tell me otherwise, you will get sparkles, just because I like them. And I normally go a little heavier with the sparkles, just because I think shimmery stuff looks cool. Try not to get too much in the eye. If you do, it looks funny. And again, these are all just my personal opinions. Most of the time I don't voice my opinion. I'm not going to go up to someone and be like, oh, you used way too many dots in your picture trying to add your light spots or something. You know, I don't. A lot of my comments are said directly to my phone as I'm looking at Instagram. And, you know, that's pretty much all you need. Because, again, I don't need to tell everybody that, oh, in my opinion, you did this wrong. You know, unless I'm asked, I really don't police everybody with how they're drawing. You did your best, yay. And we are almost finished. Again, I go heavier with the glitter than I do with the actual pen. And with these, sometimes like with Copics, they get an air bubble, so I always like to test them. Because the last thing you want to do is go into a small spot like the eye and have that air bubble decide it wants to pop and bleed out all over your eye. It is a very, very difficult thing to fix. Most of the time I just have to start over because I'm not happy with it and I'm not giving a piece of artwork that I'm not happy with. You don't always have to like the character I've been asked to draw, because I'm sorry, some of you have weird characters. And I'm not saying that's bad. I mean, you could say Venus is weird, and okay, that's your opinion. But just because someone's character is a little bit more difficult, you can still make it fun. You don't have to like it, but your character, it should still be clean, it should still have the same quality of work. And we're going to go in and sign it. And Nuke is finished. So I hope I answered some of your questions. I know it's better to see it than to actually, I don't know, me try to describe it in a text message. So I hope this helped, and I will be posting more videos. Probably just more coloring, and I see a small mistake that I'm gonna fix before. Now we're done. Promise. Okay, little scare tales, I will talk to you later and hopefully give you some more tutorials and everything. Take care.